I know that quite a lot of people worry about killing plants. And you should be worried, actually, because it is quite easy to do. I don't know a gardener who hasn't been responsible for the death of many plants. And that is because we are taking care of them, usually in a fake environment. So, I killed plants, and I'm going to talk about one that I killed today and how we can extract some learning from it. So I am a professional gardener. I am a horticultural therapist. I'm also a home educator and other things as well. And so I've wanted to bring those all together to think about how we might use nature and plants in home education and what we can learn from it, where the learning might be, but also how to do it, how to actually do the gardening bit as well, not just the learning side. So I thought I'd start with something really simple, which is how I killed a houseplant, and then how actually I didn't kill the houseplant. So bit of a backstory. I was given a big version of this. So this is a succulent, and succulents they're actually really good at looking after themselves. They don't need much help because they store liquid in their kind of fleshy leaves like this. And so they can feed themselves for a really long time. They rarely need watering. They're almost like one step up from a plastic plant, frankly. However, I managed to really imperil one that I was given to look after. And it was quite a emotional attachment plant. This person had a lot of memories invested in it. So I was thinking, what am I going to do? I could see it starting to rot, and that is where the problem had come in. Because I was concerned about looking after it, I gave it more attention than I normally would have done, which meant I watered it. And normally, with my own succulent plants, I'd neglect them for a really long time, and they would be very happy with that. This one, I might have made the risk of watering it maybe once a fortnight. It didn't like it, and it started rotting, and I had to move quite quickly. So I thought, you know what, how about I take a load of cuttings from it, which basically means taking tiny little pieces, maybe even a leaf, breaking them off. You give them a couple of days to dry off, which sounds weird, but that's how they like it. They dry off, and then you place the leaf, the cut edge of the leaf, or you place the cut bit of the stem into some compost and leave it alone. And then the juice inside the leaves will be enough to kind of sustain it while it's doing the business of putting roots down. So that's what I did. I cut off all the living bits that were still on the plant, and I had about, 10, 12 of them, stuck them all down, and they all rooted, every single one. So what I ended up with was this plant. Okay, and a bunch of other ones. And the thing is, I can say, hand on my heart, I did not kill the plant I was asked to look after, because all those little pieces of that plant carried on living, and they are thriving, mostly because I'm not doing anything to them. I potted them up. That's it so far. Might have kind of sneezed on them, or, maybe given them a little bit of water just to get a bit of moisture back in there, but they are doing really well. And it's a bit like as if I had cut my fingers off and then stuck those in compost, and each one of those grew into a new whole me. Now, that won't work. I've tried it with my hair, actually. It doesn't work. And that's because we're humans. We reproduce in a different way, which is the subject of a bunch of other videos, which I'm not going near. But plants, they can reproduce themselves identically by taking some of their existing plant material and then growing from it. So it would be like that little finger then starts growing new legs, new arms, new head, all the organs that are needed for me to function, and then go off and walk off and live my life happily. So what I've actually got is, this is the original plant, because I have a piece of the original plant that has developed. But then so is this one, and so is this one. And I have got loads of others that are scattered around windowsills, elsewhere in the house. different sunlight, all that kind of stuff, because I want them all to stay alive. I need to have at least one surviving so I can keep the family going. And that made me really happy because it's okay. I now have 10 versions of the plant that I was originally asked to look after. And if they ever want it back, I can say, well, yeah, you can have it. And your children can have one each, and your best friend can have one, and I'll look after one to remember you by, and so on. But what does that mean in terms of learning? Well, I have learned how not to kill a succulent now. I have also learned a bit about how easy, or been reminded how easy it is to propagate, to make new plants from an old plant. In the case of succulents, but if you're wanting to talk about this with children, it can be quite a nice way of thinking about what happens after you die. It can be a way of feeling okay with loss. It can be a way of kind of giving you some kind of hope, I think. There are other things there to think about too, like from a biology perspective, this is vegetative propagation. So, the plant has got this great strategy of being able to reproduce itself from a bit that falls off, that breaks off and lands on the ground. What's good about that? Well, there could be many more of them and it survives as an individual plant. But what's bad about it? Well, it's the same genetic material all the time. And we know it's a good idea to have a mix. And so that's not the way plants normally reproduce. Their preference would be to reproduce through cross-fertilization, so pollination between one plant and another plant, or one flower and another flower, and things all get mixed up together and you have all different types, and maybe an even stronger version will come out. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some links in the comments underneath, which will give you a bit of information about propagating succulents and a little bit about vegetative propagation. And hopefully that will be useful for you.